Yes. You know what is my problem, right? I actually have not spoke to anybody for what could be years. Yeah. So you're all sitting there knowing what it is that I need to know, but nobody wants to make the call again. Oops. You'd rather have me go to court tomorrow and completely ignore that you did not have any evidence of me being in swim because I wasn't there. Right. And you had no right to have a jury trial, ooch, where you obligate me to a mental health evaluation. Yes. But I had said that I wanted a change of counsel before I decided that when Judge Porter requested my presence in court, I was like, no, I actually did have an illness and I wanted to reschedule my mental health evaluation. Now, it seemed that Mr. Hannafy was kind of hard nosed about his whole approach to being a public defender. Yes. The problem is I requested a change of counsel once, twice, yes. Once before, I was supposed to have a mental health evaluation at the public defender's office. Yes. And I said, well, okay. But that morning I actually did have blood nausea because of my bleeding gums, because of my broken teeth. Yes. And then you went to court and you told Judge Porter, well, I want you to teach him a lesson because he kept sending me text messages that you better get your ass in court. And I said, no, it's my mental health evaluation and I want to reschedule it. And I had requested a change of counsel. Now we find out today, probably 2 years later, it was in 2016. Yeah. Actually would have been in maybe February or March of 2016 that Mr. Hannafy, coach, was supposed to inform me that I could have a change of counsel. Yes, if I disagreed with the need to have a mental health evaluation before the mental health evaluator was contacted. Yes. And I could have spoken to somebody else in the public defender's office that would have said, no, actually, you do have the evidence that you didn't commit the crime. So, this whole Marsden motion that seems to be a part of the restoration laws of the United States, it kind of sounds like it's important because what if your public defender really fucking hated your fucking guts and thought, well, for whatever reason, okay, could have been fucking my wife. Decided that you're going to have a mental health evaluation because of some personal vendetta, that they just want to make absolutely fucking sure that you never have any rights enforced. Now it does happen, doesn't it? Didn't I just document that? Oh. Now, let's say, okay, Mr. Calgill didn't like losing during the first jury trial. Yes. Had a conflict of interest, which shouldn't have been representing the state. But Mr. Nichols, the elected oath of office in the prosecuting attorney's office, didn't really look at exactly who had represented the state in 2012. And now was representing the state in 2016, that told me that my remedy was that if I did not receive what's not looking very good, okay? Now I found out that they were obligated to give me some other person in the public defender's office to represent me, to go over the facts of the case and allow me to present the evidence to them so they could present it to the judge. Now let's talk about Brennan Washington. I'm sending emails from August 8th to August 21st to those in law enforcement wanting to know what's it about? What's the district court case about? And what I did was, yes, I just waited. In fact, I made some videos about, well, now they're going to arrest me for failure to appear. Sure as fucking shooting. They decided to transport me across county lines when I said, fuck you, Sheriff. I mean, fuck you, Sheriff. Fuck you. Now, somebody decided to teach me a lesson that next day. I didn't know about the law called contempt of cop, where it is not against the law to say, fuck you. Now, of course, I wouldn't necessarily say it when you put the handcuffs on me, but I can say it whenever the fuck I want. Now, it seems like somebody kept saying that was verbal assault and I was going to get additional charges for doing that while by myself in a study room making videos that you can or you cannot watch depending upon what the fuck you want to do. Now, I know, okay? I mean, when those in law enforcement, yes, wanting to get the actual notice of the state of jurisdiction, poo. And for some reason, Jefferson County sent the notice of the court hearing to the wrong address that this county did not change for 5 fucking years, even though they had mail returned unclaimed. Or could have been 5 or 6 different fucking times. Now, I know that you're saying that I'm fucking schizophrenic, but the truth of the matter is, I go through this whole process for the last year, working with Jack as best as I can, stepping in at one moment when Mrs. Kaitai was assigned to me because he had another case someplace else, thinking, you issuing a court order. Now, what dumb fucking sheriff in Clallam County is going to decide to enforce the laws of the United States? It seems that when I said fuck you, it actually wasn't against the law and it's not verbal assault. And it turns out that when I request counsel, before we do one of these, the defendant is in Clallam County Correctional Facility. Yes, yes, yes. And then, evaluation pursuant to RCW CH 71.05. Now, this Marsden motion, does that happen before you transfer me to the facility that I'm involuntarily going to be admitted to? Or you're going to involuntarily admit psychotropic medication? Or does that happen before the cell hearing that we have tomorrow? Or does that happen before the mental health evaluation? Or does that happen when you reassign counsel to me and then I present the evidence that I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, and he did? Well, exactly when does that motion happen? Now, this evaluation at treatment facility. Oh, the defendant shall be transported to the Shelton treatment facility. Evaluation treat for up to 72 hours, excluding weekends and holidays, for civil commitment evaluation under RCW CH 71.05. And then after you do some sort of evaluation, another one. Well, let's look at the state's response. Phyllis from Western State Hospital. Exactly when does the Marsden motion happen? Now, the state would say, well, here it is. Recommendation concerning evaluation by DMHP. An opinion is required as to whether or not the defendant should receive an RCW 71.05 civil commitment evaluation. It must be the 7105 that this is talking about. Yes. And this opinion was solely based upon the evaluation on RCW 1077.060, which other reasons may exist to require a civil commitment evaluation, which fall into the scope of other standards outside the purview of this evaluation. Now then there's Carol Kirk. If the defendant is not ordered into competency restoration treatment, I would recommend an evaluation by a designated crisis responder. Now, due to my persistence that I have been wronged and my efforts to have contact with my sons. Now, Carol, exactly when does the crisis responder motion the court for Marsden motion to have... Well, you're the police officer, aren't you, Carol? You're the crisis fucking responder. Now, think about it, Carol. When do you require me to have an evaluation? When the Sequim Police Department didn't give me an attorney at the time of the probable cause arrest? Yes. And then my public defender would not allow me a different counsel because I'm indigent and would not admit the actual evidence that I wasn't in Sequim, Washington? I mean, exactly when does the state of fucking Washington